All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're getting practical. We're not just going to talk about growth, we're actually going to equip you with the strategic tools you need to really scale your business. Think of this as your personal guide to reaching that summit. Okay, but before we even take the first step, we've got to get something important out of the way. Just a quick heads up, everything we're about to go through is for your information and, well, entertainment. It is absolutely not financial advice. There are no guarantees of any results, period. So please always do your own research, and it's super important you talk to a qualified professional before you make any big moves. All right? Let's get into it. All right, with that out of the way, let's look up. You see that peak way up there? That's our destination, the $100,000 summit. Now, this is a huge milestone for any business, and it's not something you just stumble upon. It takes a really solid plan. But that's the real question, isn't it? How do you actually get from where you are right now all the way to the top? It's not enough to just want it. You've got to know the path. So let's figure out the best way to tackle this climb. So here's our game plan for today's climb. First, we're going to scan the horizon. Then we'll figure out our strengths. After that, we'll map the path, choose our strategy, and finally, we'll pack up our toolkit. Let's go. Okay, step one. Every great hiker knows you don't start by looking down at your boots. You start by looking out at the horizon to really understand the terrain and see that bigger picture. And the first tool we're pulling out of the pack is something called PESTL analysis. Think of it as your long-range forecast. It's a framework that helps you scan all those big external forces, kind of like the political, economic, and social weather patterns that could affect your climb. And what PESTL does is it breaks down that huge, complicated environment into these 6 key factors. You've got political, economic, social, and so on. By looking at them one by one, you make sure you don't miss any of those big shifts that could either give you a massive boost or, throw a storm in your path. And here's the key takeaway, right? This isn't just some boring business school exercise. The whole point of PESTL is to be on the lookout, to actively scan the environment to find those trends you can actually exploit. You're looking for opportunities to ride. Okay, so we've looked outward, we've checked the forecast, now it's time to look inward. Step 2 is all about knowing your own strengths. Think of this as doing a thorough gear check before you set off. And the go-to tool for this, of course, is the classic SWOT analysis. It helps you get a really honest look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's about knowing what gear you have that's top-notch and maybe what needs a little work. Now, here's where it gets really powerful. Look at this matrix. The magic for growth is right there in that SO box, strengths and opportunities. This is where you connect the dots. You take what you're good at, your strengths, and you aim them directly at those opportunities you found out in the world with your PESTL scan. And that's why this is so critical. SWOT doesn't just give you a list. It helps you build a bridge. It links your internal skills with that external potential. It answers the most important question. Okay, with what we've got, how do we best take advantage of what's out there? All right, we've scanned the horizon, we've checked our gear. Now for step 3, it's time to actually map our path. We're pulling out the compass and drawing the line from here to the summit. To do that, we start with what's called a gap analysis. This tool is all about making your goal real. It gets you past just saying, I want to get to the top, and forces you to identify the specific gaps you need to close to get there. What skills are you missing? What resources do you need? What it does is it gives you this crystal clear side-by-side comparison. Here's where we are now, and here's where we want to be. That $100,000 summit, which, by the way, is about $8,300 a month, suddenly you can see exactly what that gap, that journey, really looks like. But sometimes the path isn't a straight line. You'll come to a fork in the road with a few different options for growth. Maybe it's a new product or a new market. Which way do you go? Well, that's where the decision matrix comes in. It's like your trusty guide. And the real magic of this tool is that it takes the guesswork and the gut feelings out of the picture. It forces you to be objective. You score your different options based on what's most important to you, like cost or potential return. And it points you to the path with the best shot at success. Okay, we've got our path mapped out. Now, for step 4, we have to choose our actual strategy for the climb. How exactly are we going to make our way up the mountain? So the Ansoff matrix lays out 4 fundamental growth strategies. It all boils down to 2 simple questions. Are you going to stick with your current products or make new ones? And are you going to sell to your current market or find new ones? This gives you 4 paths, from just digging deeper where you are all the way to full-blown diversification. And each one has a different level of risk.
And then the BCG matrix helps you figure out where to put your money and energy. It's a way of looking at your portfolio of products or services. You've got your stars, the high growth winners that need more investment. You've got your cash cows, the steady earners that basically fund everything else. And you've got your question marks, where you have to decide, do we double down or get out?
Whew, okay, that was a lot of ground to cover. Let's take a quick breather here at this lookout point and review the whole toolkit we've just put together for this climb. And here it is, the whole system in 4 simple steps. First, you scan the horizon with PESTL. Second, you know your strengths with Swot. Third, you map your path using gap analysis and a decision matrix. And fourth, you choose your strategy with Ansoff and BCG. See how it all flows? From the big picture right down to the specific move you're going to make? And if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Getting to that $100,000 summit, it's not a leap of faith. It's not about getting lucky. It's a series of deliberate, strategic steps made by using the right tools at the right time. So we've given you the map. We've shown you the tools. The summit is right there, waiting for you. The only question now is, which tool are you going to pick up and use first?